Hello guys, welcome to United's Glory. Today we saw another example of a bottle mentality at Manchester United. Absolutely cowardly display against relegation fodder. Actual relegation fodder. A team that were in a relegation battle at Old Trafford and we need a win to put ourselves clear for the top four race, and we play like that. I am fuming. And what's worse, we actually rested our team in an FA Cup semi-final to play like that. And this game, once again, further exposed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tactical naivety and inexperience, or basically the complete lack of it. Look, I don't mind if a manager is not a tactical genius. Not all managers are. Some have different qualities. But then you have to have in your coaching setup somebody who has that tactical strategic acumen. Who is Solskjaer's man that does that? Is it Carrick? Is it McKenna? Get rid of them, because we have no strategy when the individual brilliance doesn't go our way. Rubbish. Every time we have a chance to really take advantage of the results around us, we see this weak, pathetic excuse of a mentality come back to the fore. I'm done with it. We literally rested players in the FA Cup semi-final to not get Champions League, because I'm telling you, if we play like that against Leicester City, we will lose. We will not get Champions League. Not only do we look tired and lethargic, there's poor individual displays, unforgivable individual errors. Paul Pogba, what on earth are you doing? This is not basketball. To those of you saying, Paul Pogba, it was just a natural reaction, he was defending himself. It wasn't prime Mike Tyson on the pitch knocking him out. It was just a football. How many times have people taken a ball to the face on a football pitch? It stings, sure, but you get up and get on with it. Even if you don't want to take a ball to the face, right next to him was the inexperienced Fosu Mensah. Don't get me wrong, not a good display by him, but at least he knows when jumping, you turn your back and keep your arms down to not give a handball. Pogba didn't even turn his back and put his hands towards the ball. Rubbish. As I've said before, Paul Pogba on form when it's going his way is probably the best midfielder in the world, especially in terms of technical attributes. But he gets basics wrong time and time again, consistently. The best midfielders, first and foremost, get the basics right consistently every game, and then their abilities take them to that next level. Paul Pogba doesn't even get the basics right. This is ridiculous, especially for a three-time Serie A winner, a World Cup winner. People wonder why Paul Pogba comes in for criticism. It's moments like these. It's moments like against Southampton, giving the ball away sloppily and costing us a goal. You don't see the best midfielders in the world doing that kind of rubbish on a consistent basis. And don't get me started on his central midfielder partner. The cruise liner is back. I'm telling you, Matic's good run of form recently was basically just him not being himself. He's gone straight back to cruise liner Matic. Takes 400 years to turn on the ball. Takes thousands of touches. In fact, Gary Neville literally said that during the commentary. Anyway, I'll get onto him when I go to the player ratings. This performance was embarrassing. Like I said, we are not beating Leicester. The best we can hope for is a draw. We're going to have to hope Leicester continue their run of bad form, but we've given them a sniff now. They know they have to win. They're going to be up for it. They've had a week's rest up until our game against them. It's at their ground. I'm worried. I'm nervous about that game. But anyway, it wasn't just down to individual player errors. The coaching of this team is dire. Not only the strategy and tactics going into the game and the response to how another team's playing, but Solskjaer leaves it far too long to even make any changes. Even Gary Neville noticed that we needed to get Pogba further up the pitch. There's no point having Pogba and Matic lying deep in front of Maguire and Lindelof. In fact, Maguire and Lindelof, whatever you think about them, one of their key attributes for both of them is playing the ball out with their feet. Then if you stick two other ball-playing midfielders in front of them, okay, Matic is more of a defensive midfielder, Pogba's more of a deep-lying playmaker in the way we're playing currently. But they've got no options in front of them. They're literally giving the ball to Matic and Pogba. Then they've got to look up to limited options. We have four brilliant players up front, but they're just getting crowded out, as we saw today. Moyes tactically battered Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in this match. He was one step ahead of him every part of the way. Our goal was only down to individual brilliance yet again. Our approach today was simply cowardly. Anyway, on to player ratings. David De Gea, I'm surprised he got picked today. Another cowardly decision by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You need to be ruthless with goalkeepers. Anyway, I'm not going to have that have any bearing on how I'm rating De Gea. De Gea is useless at penalties, we know that. But even then, goalkeepers don't save penalties sometimes. Sometimes they just go the wrong way. I didn't expect De Gea to save it. I never expect De Gea to save a penalty. I can't even remember the last time he saved a penalty. But other than that, he had obviously no chance for the goal because it was a penalty and he went the wrong way. And he did make a good save in the second half, which could have gone in. So I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 today because you have to say he bounced back. Surprise right back today, MUNWHU came in. I thought Wan-Bissaka would play. He started off quite positively actually, but his distribution started to really come to the fore and it was weak. His distribution was poor. They started to close him down quicker once they noticed this and he continued getting worse and worse. I'm not going to blame him. It just feels like he's been flung into the team lately, but not good enough. 5 out of 10 for MUNWHU and rightfully taken off. Brandon Williams at left back. He's tenacious, don't get me wrong, but he struggled again today. Against Chelsea, that was his worst performance in a Manchester United shirt, but it wasn't much better today. Not as bad as Chelsea, but, he was really struggling to get close to their right winger today, and I just weren't that impressed. He did a nice bit of skill at one point to beat his man, so you can see he's got skill, but once again, another player just falling off the bandwagon. I don't know what's happening. Harry Maguire, he was composed today. One of our better players today. I don't know why he got so much criticism against Chelsea. Sure, he wasn't brilliant, but neither was the rest of the team. Composed performance today, good on the ball. Got 2 deep-lying midfielders right in front of him, literally taking any potential passing options away for him. This is down to the tactics, guys. Rubbish. Anyway, Harry Maguire, 7 out of 10. Lindelof, pretty solid throughout, but got beat in the air from one of the corners, which was a little bit worrying. We know that's Lindelof's worrying attribute, his physicality. And whilst he is no slouch in terms of pace, he isn't the quickest either. And given that he's playing next to Maguire, who is the first choice out of them two, you have to wonder why Manchester United playing a bit deeper has something to do with that, because they don't want to have the opposing team break the lines and beat them for pace. We need to get a faster centre-back in simply. It's not that Lindelof is a bad player. It's just they don't suit each other. Trust me, if this man was playing next to Paul Scholes or a Roy Keane or a Vieira, he would make them look bad because he just takes far too many touches on the ball. It's ridiculous. We needed to get him off in that second half and get Fred on. Sure, Fred isn't at his best and he even takes a few games to get back to his best. But he releases the ball quickly and we should have been going for the win today. Matic, if you're trying to defend a lead or if you're comfortably ahead, sure, keep Matic on the pitch because he's good at mopping up, he's good at intercepting play. But when you need to win, you don't want Matic on the pitch. Retaining Chris Smalling and having him partner Harry Maguire at the beginning of the season would have been a wiser idea. And maybe we should look at that if we aren't going to buy a centre-back this year because Bailly can't stay fit. Anyway, onto the midfield. Nemanja Matic, where do I start? Not my midfielder. I do not enjoy watching this man play. Like I said earlier, his recent run of good form has coincided with the team's recent run of good form, and a lot of people are pinning that on Matic playing in midfield. We were playing good before Project Restart. Our performances were starting to improve, and Matic was scarcely involved. It was Fred or McTominay. Now, I'm not saying those two are individually better than Matic, and Matic does offer something that those two players don't. But he takes far too many touches on the ball. I've called him 5-touch Matic. Well, never went one step further. Well, a lot of steps further and called him 1,000-touch Matic. It's like he's just trying to get touches on the ball on his stats ratio or something. It's ridiculous. Release the goddamn ball. For me, what this tells me is if we want to play a singular deep line midfielder, Fred probably can't do that job on his own. He likes an energetic midfielder next to him, and we need to get Pogba further up the field and closer to Bruno Fernandes. We need to get somebody like Van der Beek in badly. I know he doesn't play singularly as a defensive midfielder, but Paul Pogba is more of a box-to-box than an advanced midfielder like Bruno. But something's got to happen because we need somebody who can pass the ball and release it a lot quicker. Someone in the mould of a Xabi Alonso, personally, for me, if we're going to continue with a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. 2 out of 10 for Matic for me today. I'm sick of this midfielder. I'm done with him. Paul Pogba, 1 out of 10. Do I really need to explain myself? Some people are trying to say he redeemed himself with our goal. He literally just did his job and passed it into Martial. Martial and Greenwood made that goal. Right, don't get me wrong. Before that, before the handball, Pogba wasn't actually looking that bad. His passing was crisp, it was neat, it was direct. But how can you make that error in professional football? It's maybe a 1 out of 10 is harsh in context of the whole game, but the fact is, if he didn't make that error, we run out 1-0 winners, or we aren't 1-0 down at least. We know his attributes are world class. We know he's got the skill to make something happen, as he often does, but we need to get him further up the field drastically. He doesn't necessarily have to be as advanced as Bruno, but he's got to be more advanced than what he's playing. He's literally playing side to side with Matic, and it just doesn't work because Matic releases the ball far too slowly, and people know what Pogba's looking for. He's looking for that galaxy pass. It's becoming predictable, and West Ham predicted it. 1 out of 10. I gave De Gea a 1 out of 10 for his performance against Chelsea, so I feel like I have to give Pogba a 1 out of 10 here. Bruno, another poor game. He's really, really, really tailing off. Now, don't get me wrong, he has that bit of magic that can make something happen, but let's face it, Bruno Fernandes today got pocketed by Rice. In fact, Declan Rice is a transfer target, presumably for Manchester United, and he performed quite well today. I'd rather have him in midfield than Matic. Anyway, a 4 out of 10 for Bruno for me today. He looks tired. He looks like he's ready for a holiday. Mason Greenwood, I thought he was poor before his goal, but his goal was once again brilliant. Give Mason Greenwood a side to the goal. It's a goal. A great finish. But because of his overall performance throughout the rest of the game, I've got to give him a 6 out of 10. And Marcus Rashford, a really poor game. Kept giving the ball away. A nice ball to Bruno Fernandes in the first half. People were criticising Bruno Fernandes' control, but if you actually look again, the ball actually was controlled okay, but it just bounced off his other leg and went out of play. But Marcus Rashford barely beat his man today, was constantly making the wrong choices. Once again, seemed a yard off the pace again in terms of rhythm. I don't know. I thought he'd got back on form. I thought he'd got that rhythm back into his game, but clearly not. 4 out of 10 for Marcus Rashford. Anthony Martial really impressed me as a number 9. His hold-up play is really coming on. His passing is accurate and acute, and he's really showing strength when being challenged by the centre-halves whilst holding onto the ball. His link-up play is really coming on as well. I mean, his link-up play has always been good, to be fair, but, you know, given his added dimension of strength, holding onto the ball, he's really looking like a proper number 9.